Runnels Christian Church. I hope wherever you are on this very cold and snowy day that you are safe and warm. I'm sorry that we can't be in worship together at RCC today, but I just wanted to prepare a brief meditation for you for your worship at home. This storm has me thinking back to a similar storm that we had probably 5 or 6 years ago when the temperatures were really, really cold, 20, 30 below zero. And I was working at home that day writing my sermon, and it got to a point where I realized I hadn't seen any of my pets for a while. We had two dogs and a cat at the time, and they were normally around, but they weren't. So I started walking through the house looking for them. And I found one dog on the couch in a pile of blankets. And I found the cat sleeping by the front door in a little patch of sunshine that was coming through the window. And I found the other dog lying on the tile in front of the kitchen sink, which was strange until I remembered there was a heat vent under the sink that warmed the tile up very, very cozy. And I was amazed that on this cold, cold, cold day, all three animals had managed to find the safest and warmest spots in the house. Little oasis from the cold. When I think back on that day, it reminds me often of a story from Exodus chapter 15. And this is a story of the Israelites very shortly after they have escaped from slavery in Egypt and crossed through the waters of the Red Sea. In other words, their 40 years in the wilderness has only just begun, but already they are exhausted because they've been walking in the desert heat for 3 days without water. And finally, they arrive at a place with a spring, but the water is bitter, not fit to drink. And who could blame them for complaining? So Moses cried out to God for help, and God told him to throw a piece of wood into the water, and that wood made the water safe. The Israelites in that moment got what they needed to continue on the journey. The scriptures say the Israelites named that place Mara, which means bitter. But the scriptures also describe that place of water in the desert as an oasis, a refuge. And I think that's such an interesting mashup of words, bitter and oasis. To me, it's a good reminder that even in difficult or unpleasant or less than ideal circumstances, God cares for us and listens to us and provides for us. Sometimes that looks like a cool drink of water in the desert. Sometimes that looks like a pile of blankets or a little patch of sunshine on a sub zero day. Sometimes that looks like a shady spot to rest and regroup before continuing on with your 40-year journey. Sometimes that looks like a weekend where all the events are canceled and all of the stores are closed, and we all just get to rest from our overscheduled lives. So while you are hunkered down this weekend, I encourage you to look for the blessings within this storm. The road crews and the utility crews and the first responders who are out working in these elements to keep us all safe. The helpful neighbor who pushes snow out of your driveway, the extra time that you've gotten with loved ones at home, whatever it may be, in the midst of this bitter cold, I hope that you have found an oasis.